Sometimes life breaks you in ways you never expected. Dreams collapse, plans fail, and everything you worked for disappears. In those moments, most people give up, but a very few find the courage to start again, because real strength isn't about never falling, it's about rising every single time you do. Today, a story is about one such man, Ayan, whose failure didn't end him, it rebuilt him, and through his journey, you'll learn how courage, patience, and faith can turn endings into new beginnings. Stay till the end, Yani. This story might give you the strength to start again. Ayan was a 27-year-old man living in Lahore. From a young age, he dreamed of building his own business, something that would not only bring success but also make his parents proud. After years of hard work, he finally opened a small in the heart of the city. It wasn't fancy, but it was his dream. He poured everything into it, his time, savings, and sleepless nights. For a while, everything went well. Customers came, people loved the food, and Ayan felt like life was finally smiling on him. But then, everything changed. A sudden economic crisis hit. Prices went up, rent increased, and sales dropped drastically. Within months, Ayan was drowning in debt. He tried everything to save the discounts, new menus, delivery, but nothing worked. One night, as he sat alone in the empty shop, lights dimmed, he whispered, "Ya Allah, what did I do wrong?" Tears rolled down his face. The that once buzzed with laughter was now silent. A few weeks later, Ayan had no choice but to close it down. For the first time in his life, he felt completely lost. Days turned into weeks. Ayan stopped meeting friends. He avoided family gatherings. He couldn't bear the pity in people's eyes. He kept replaying everything in his mind. If I had worked harder, maybe it wouldn't have failed. If I had made better choices, maybe it would still be running. But the truth was, no amount of regret could change what had happened. One night, his father came to his room quietly and said, "Beta, success isn't about never falling. It's about standing up again with faith." Ayan didn't reply, but those words sank deep into his heart. That night, he looked at his reflection in the mirror and said softly, "Maybe this isn't the end. Maybe Allah closed this door to open a better one." A few days later, while walking through the market, Ayan saw an old man selling tea by the roadside. It was raining, yet the man smiled at every customer, serving them hot tea with love. Something about that sight moved Ayan deeply. He went up to the man and asked, "Uncle, don't you ever get tired?" The old man smiled and said, "Beta, I lost everything once too, but sitting and crying never brought it back. So I started again with what I had, not with what I lost." Those words hit Ayan like lightning. He realized he had been waiting for life to fix itself, when in reality he had to start again. That night, Ayan prayed deeply, not for success, but for strength. He said, "Ya Allah, if you've taken something from me, it must be for a reason. Give me the courage to start again." The next morning, Ayan took out an old notebook where he used to write ideas. On the first page, he wrote 3 words, "Start again." Now, he couldn't afford another, but he still had his skills, so he started small, selling homemade sandwiches and tea from a simple food cart. At first, people barely noticed. Some even mocked him, from owner to street vendor, they whispered, but Ayan didn't care anymore. He had already faced his worst fear, failure, and survived it. He told himself, begin small, even mountains start with dust. Day by day, his food cart began attracting customers. People loved his taste, his service, and his honesty. Within months, Ayan's small cart became one of the most popular spots in the area. 2 years later, a very big dreamer saved enough money to reopen his. This time, smarter, stronger, and wiser. He named it Bismillah, and under the signboard he wrote a small line, "Fallen but not broken." The opened with long queues of people who had watched his journey from failure to success. When a customer asked, "Brother, how did you find the courage to start again?" Ayan smiled and said, "Because my faith was stronger than my fear." Ayan's story became a reminder that failure is never the end, it's simply a test of your patience and faith. Sometimes Allah removes something from your life not to punish you, but to redirect you to something better. Failure doesn't mean you're not capable, it means you're being prepared for something greater. And courage doesn't mean you never feel fear, it means you trust Allah enough to move forward anyway. If you've failed recently in business, in studies, or in life, remember this: you can start again. No failure is permanent unless you give up. Every ending carries a seed of a new beginning. Maybe you lost a job, a relationship, or a dream. But maybe Allah is simply preparing you for something far better than you ever imagined. All you need is courage, the courage to start again. So, my friend, if life has knocked you down, take a deep breath, wipe your tears, and say, Bismillah, I'll start again, because those who start again are the ones who truly win. And remember, every failure ends when faith begins. If this story inspired you, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who's struggling to rise again, and comment below, what will you start again, inshallah? Until next time, stay strong, stay hopeful, and never stop believing.